really boiled down to four plays for us on special teams. One on punt return, one on kickoff return. Our guys continue to get better in coverage, and really proud of the way they're playing. A lot of young guys have continued to step up, and Stoney, I think, hit a 67-yarder. We netted 53, gave 14 yards there, but he's continued to get better as well. And Nick, fought through a little injury last week, and showed us what he's made of. He's 40 years old out there competing and doing what he does, and so we'll see where he's at this week, and hopefully he's ready to go.
James Williams, a guy who's getting more snaps in the defense now. What's he been like on teams? How have you seen him improve this year?
Yeah, another young kid that's gotten better as the years gone on, and he's a big physical guy. He's played safety in college, and now we moved him close to the line of scrimmage, playing linebacker. He's playing linebacker positions for us on special teams, and you guys see what he's made of. He's come close to several blocks, on punt return, and every special teams coach you talk to just talks about him and how close he's come. So he's going to continue to get better, and he's going to be a guy that we're going to count on.
Is Nick's deal an extension of what he was going through last week, or something new? And how's he?
I just think it's new, or not new. Excuse me. It's just what he's been kind of going through. I don't know the details of it. We'll see where he's at today.
Both quarterbacks have been great. They're both preparing to play. Will's still just one play away as the backup, and so been real supportive. And those guys are kind of still in their same process, watching a lot of film together, and same thing in meetings. So they've been it's been good so far.
The deep threat different with Mason's game. You're more likely to have kind of a long built-up drive than you are to have explosive.
I wouldn't say that. Against Detroit, he had a couple big ones down the field. So kind of the offense is all still open. All the stuff are still there. So whether it's off play action or drop back, Mason still, he can push it down there. And we feel confident with both of them doing that.
I'm assuming you were one of the people that Brian Callahan consulted with before the decision. For you, from your perspective, going from Levis to Rudolph, what is the trade-off? What are you getting by making that switch?
I don't know. I'm not sure we really want to totally get into the comparison right now of one or the other, but right now we just we sat down as a staff, sat down as a group, and really thought that Mason just gave us kind of the best chance to win and stay efficient and kind of play mistake-free football, and so that's kind of where we headed.
You said yesterday something along the lines of when Will was making turnovers, it wasn't necessarily the mistakes he was making, it was just how and when he made them. Can you kind of expand on what that means? Like, what was it about how and when the turnovers happened that kind of led to this decision?
I think there's part of that of the turnovers where some of them are game situationally. It's first and second down turnovers or things like that, or things in scoring range and fumbles, and just all of those things of managing the game kind of comes to that. So really it was there are some times to force it and there are some times to not, and we just kind of felt that it was ready to go in another direction.
You attribute maybe Tajay's seemed like he had a little bit more juice on Sunday, made more plays than he's made this season. Why do you think that was?
He's finally as healthy as he's been. He's kind of battled the injury bug a little bit. Got dinged up against these guys the first time. It was kind of where his kind of injury started, and then he got dinged up again later. So he's had a couple of really good weeks of practice. And then, with Tony being out and a little bit more opportunities, but he's as healthy as he's been, probably so far this season, and you could really see the burst. When he caught the ball and got in space, it was pretty electric. So we're excited to have, that's kind of the Tyjae Spears we've come to know, and we're looking for more of that.
When you talk about, making the move to Mason and, the efficiency and the mistake-free and maybe the operation of a quarterback like him taking over, giving you the better chance to win right now, what are some of those things in the operation and the efficiency that make you feel more confident with Mason right now over Will?
Right now we're just it's kind of a completions game and a completions mindset, and just kind of getting the ball at the right place and playing on time and some of those things. So yeah, just really kind of a totality of the whole deal of, we just felt right now this week he gives us the best chance to win.
Mason said yesterday he's not really the type to get up in front of the team and make a speech about getting the job or anything. When you have a quarterback who's not that kind of guy, like, how do you see Mason be a leader, fill those quarterback roles without necessarily being the vocal guy?
I don't think either one of those two are super vocal. They kind of have that just a different way, and I think leadership needs to be authentic. So if it's authentic and they're themselves and they're kind of giving their best effort and kind of helping guys get lined up and things like that. So sometimes leadership doesn't have to be kind of out in front of the team. There's encouraging, and Mason's kind of they're both really good teammates to guys. You see them, especially after drives, things like that. Both QBs have done a nice job of, hey, I missed you here, or hey, I need you this. And I think that's a different kind of leadership, but I think that's kind of both their personalities, and it's genuine for those guys.
What would you kind of look for Will, given the circumstances that he's now in terms of how he approaches his work week, how he approaches practice, and just the entire situation?
We've told Will, you're one play away, right? So just like with Mason was, now kind of the roles were reversed, but you've got to prepare to play. We want you to be the same guy every day, and he's done a great job preparing so far. He's preparing like he's going to play. He's out there. He's in the meetings. He's really attentive and all those things. So that's really what we're looking for. In this league, there's a lot of ups and downs. You can look around of guys still playing now. There's guys that have had kind of progress is not always just linear like that. You look around at guys like Baker Mayfield or Jared Goff or all these other guys that have kind of had some up and downs. And this, I think, is just kind of a bump in the road for Will.
As you're trying to get him to that 1K mark, obviously not forcing it, but you look at the last time you played this team, 8 targets, 0 receptions. Do you look at that and just try to figure out how you can make sure that you're 100% more efficient than that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we, obviously when you get into these division games, I think going back to the tape you played them before, how they played you, there's always that kind of chess match. But, we, going back to that 8 targets, no catches or whatever it was, whatever that number was, you look back, there was mistakes everywhere why he didn't get catches. Some were Calvin, some were quarterback driven, some were just location, some were protection. So it was kind of a totality of all that. But yes, absolutely, we're on to how do we solve those issues.
I guess with Richardson, what are maybe some of the challenges he'll present your defense?
Obviously, his potential to run the ball. He's good running the ball. He's a big, powerful man. He looks like a DN out there, and then he can throw the ball a country mile. He has a strong arm. Their play action pass game is a pretty good play action pass game. So we got to stay over the top, but we have to populate the line of scrimmage with guys to stop the run.
I know we've talked about Sweat before, but just in terms of his growth from when he got here in rookie camp to now, what do you think stands out the most about the way he's been able to get himself on the field, stay on the field this late in the season?
It's really his confidence. After the first couple of weeks, he knew that he was in good enough shape to play longer and play, sustain and play dominant football. I think that as the season's gone and he's played and he's seen the things that he could do from a production standpoint, he's gained self-confidence to play better and better and better. And then, he's in way better shape than when he first got here. And he understands that as long as he dedicates himself to his body, his training, getting better, especially having an off season after this year, he knows that he can be a force to reckon with in this league for an extended period of time.
Have you seen a guy his size run like that and make a play on defense of that nature?
Don't be fooled by the stature. When you watch him athletically, he can do everything. He's a big man that's light on his feet. If you ever get the opportunity to go down there and see them do bag drills to warm up and you see how he can go through those bag and flip his hips, you'll see the athleticism. And it shows up every day. And you got to remember, he was a basketball player before he went to Texas, and he was a very good basketball player, so it's in him.
What did you see from Williams and Gray that you liked, and what do they still need to work on as young inside linebackers?
Well, I think this, especially when James went in the game, we were in the red zone. He didn't, we had a game plan to get him probably about 10 snaps during the game, through the course of the game, but he was put into the fire. The thing about him is he has to understand that he has to play with the same confidence that he practices with. The game he came in, he was a little hesitant. He didn't play as violent as we would like. But as the game went on, he started to show up more and more. And just like anybody, his first experience, I think that he's going to be better from the experience of going out there. And then when he gets his next opportunity, he'll be more violent. He'll be more decisive of what he's doing. There won't be a hesitation. He was thrown out there in the fire, and he had to fight through it.
seen a position group go through what the linebacker group has gone through this year, and just kind of how do you respond as a coach? How do the players respond to all of that?
I mean, if you think about it, we've had turnover throughout the course of the year. You know, you go back and look at the first Indy game, we had Ernest Jones out there, you know, and we traded him, and Gibby stepped up, and Gibby played, you know, outstanding football for 3 weeks. You know, I just thinking back, his first game, he had 15 tackles, right? And then he gets an injury. And then Luke Gifford gets an opportunity to play, and he steps up to the plate. And, you know, he had self-confidence. I think even in that game, before he had the concussion, you could see how confident he was playing the Mike position again. And, you know, the first drive, he ended up getting an interception. So it's been a lot of turnover. I believe in Frank Bush and Woody coaches. They all get held to the same standard. And when they go out there, I don't expect a drop off. And they've been doing a good job. And the young guys had opportunities to play, but they don't have the rep counts and the experience that the veteran guys have had because they've played in this league.